Recently, a number of optimistic reports have surfaced regarding the defense of the Los Angeles team. While most of the focus has understandably been on the offensive side of the ball, especially considering the excitement surrounding the upcoming draft, it's crucial not to overlook the defensive aspect of the game. With the draft rapidly approaching, the pressure is on to find the best possible fit for the team. And although there are plenty of rumors swirling around offensive prospects, there is also a quiet but growing buzz surrounding the defense. For years, the franchise has been committed to strengthening its line, and with the draft selections on the horizon, there's a sense that this priority remains intact. One name that has been making its rounds in recent conversations is Kenneth Grant. Recently, an article suggested that the team might be eyeing Grant with one of their early picks, which is exciting given his connection to another player from Michigan, a player who has already made a significant impact. This potential move speaks volumes about the team's intention to build a defense that can stand toe-to-toe with the league's best. Historically, the organization has always shown a preference for investing in a strong defensive line, and with the draft just around the corner, it seems that this commitment has not wavered. Looking back at the trajectory of the team over the years, it's evident that they've placed a heavy emphasis on establishing a powerful defense, particularly up front. There's no doubt that adding a player like Grant, or even a top-tier defensive prospect from Ohio State, would align perfectly with the team's strategic goals. Both of these players are recognized for their ability to disrupt the run game, and that's a quality the team values highly. In an era where stopping the run is more important than ever, adding a player with Grant's skill set would be a major boost. And while there may be more attention paid to the offensive side of things, let's not forget that a dominant defense is just as vital to a team's success. As the draft draws closer, all eyes are on the potential offensive players who might be available. But in the midst of the hype, it's worth taking a step back and looking at the defensive side of the ball with a little more scrutiny. After all, a championship-winning team is built on both sides of the line of scrimmage. A good offense will only get you so far if your defense can't hold up under pressure. And that's why the team is looking to make smart decisions when it comes to bolstering their defense. Despite all the buzz surrounding offensive players, the fact remains that there are some incredibly talented defensive prospects in this year's draft who could make an immediate impact. One thing that's clear is that with multiple draft picks on the horizon, the team has an opportunity to significantly improve its defensive unit. From defensive linemen to linebackers and defensive backs, there are plenty of directions they could take. As we've seen in previous seasons, a well-balanced team is one that can dominate both offensively and defensively. So even if the focus has been primarily on offensive players, it's refreshing to see a renewed interest in the defense as well. It's important to remember that a solid defensive foundation is key to long-term success, especially when you're trying to compete with the best teams in the league. The most exciting part of this defensive draft strategy is the possibility of landing a player like Kenneth Grant. Watching his game tape, it's easy to see why he's generating so much buzz. His agility, despite his large frame, is impressive. While there are some questions about his overall strength, particularly in situations where he's blocked by offensive linemen, his speed and ability to make plays from the defensive tackle position are undeniable. One of the most remarkable things about Grant is his ability to close in on ball carriers quickly, making him a major threat in the run game. And even when facing tough opposition, he's shown an ability to shed blockers and still make plays, which is a valuable trait for any defensive lineman. It's true that Grant hasn't been perfect in every game, but the fact that he has moments of brilliance, like his ability to chase down a running back against USC, speaks volumes about his potential. If the team were to take him in the upcoming draft, it would be an investment in the future, one that could help solidify their defense for years to come. And that's something that can't be overlooked, especially when considering the value of this year's draft picks. With so many selections on the table, the team has a real chance to make a major impact in multiple areas, including defense. However, while Grant certainly seems to be a promising option, he's not the only player on the team's radar. The draft board is filled with defensive prospects, and the team has to consider all of their options. Whether they go for a linebacker, defensive end, or even a safety, the goal is to find a player who can come in and contribute right away. The defense has been a point of emphasis for the team in recent seasons, and this year should be no different. It's not just about adding a star to the offense. It's about creating a team that can stop the opposition when it matters most. Another interesting aspect of this year's draft is the sheer depth of talent available. While many people are focusing on the high-profile offensive players, the truth is that there are some incredibly talented defensive players who could fall under the radar. The team has to be smart with its picks, and taking a defensive player early could pay off in the long run. It's a delicate balance, choosing between the best offensive players available and shoring up the defense. But given the team's needs, it's clear that defense should not be overlooked. In terms of a mock draft focused exclusively on defense, it's exciting to think about what the team could potentially land. There are some highly ranked players who could be available in the first few rounds, and the team needs to take full advantage of its draft position. Whether they go for a safety, a defensive lineman, or a linebacker, there are plenty of options that could help improve the team's defense right away. It's all about making smart, strategic choices that will help the team for years to come. And as we look ahead to the draft, the focus on defense seems to be growing stronger by the day. It's refreshing to see the team's commitment to improving on that side of the ball, and it's something that fans should be excited about. Of course, there are still plenty of questions to be answered in the coming weeks. Will the team go all in on offense, or will they make a strong defensive pick in the first round? It's hard to say for sure, but one thing is clear. The defense is going to play a crucial role in the team's success going forward. As the draft gets closer, it will be interesting to see how the team handles its selections, but it's safe to say that both the offense and defense are set to get some much-needed upgrades. Whether they choose to go heavy on defense or balance things out with some offensive picks, the team has a real opportunity to improve across the board. And while the focus has been on offense for a while now, it's important not to forget about the defense. As fans, we can get caught up in the excitement of new offensive talent, but the reality is that a championship-winning team needs strength on both sides of the ball. So, with that in mind, let's keep an eye on the defense as the draft approaches. It might just be the key to the team's success in the years ahead. Now, while the conversation around defensive reinforcements continues to gain momentum, it's impossible to ignore the growing excitement over potential offensive picks as well. There's a real sense that this draft might end up being a turning point for the franchise, especially if they decide to lean fully into building a more dynamic, explosive offense. There's already speculation around a few standout names who could bring that spark, and at the center of it all is Matthew Golden. It's hard to believe a receiver of his caliber could still be available by the 22nd pick, but if that's how things unfold, it would be a no-brainer. Golden stands out not just for his physical attributes, but for his sharp instincts, elite route running, and reliable hands. For many, he's arguably the best wideout in this class, and his selection would be an absolute statement by the team, signaling their intent to take the offense to another level. And then there's Elijah Arroyo, a name that's been coming up a lot in discussions lately. He's not the flashiest player, but he's got that rare blend of toughness and versatility that coaches love. He lines up as a tight end, but can be moved around the formation to create mismatches. His blocking ability is solid, and when it comes to making contested catches in traffic, he's reliable. He might not be rated as highly as some other prospects, but his value goes beyond the numbers. There's something about the way he plays, calm, confident, calculated, that makes you believe he'd thrive in the right system. A B-plus grade might seem modest, but for the role he'd be filling, it's more than justified. Now, looking at the interior of the offensive line, there are a couple of intriguing prospects that have caught the eye. Damon Martinez from Miami, for instance, has quietly built a reputation as one of the more underrated guards in the draft. He's not necessarily a highlight reel player, but his fundamentals are strong, and he rarely gets beaten off the snap. He's the type of lineman who could step in and provide immediate depth, possibly even challenge for a starting role, depending on how things shake out in camp. Some may question the upside, but if you're looking for consistency and a player who brings toughness to the trenches, Martinez is a solid option. And when it comes to addressing the center position, Seth McLaughlin is a name that deserves a serious look. He's not the most talked-about prospect, but those who've studied the tape know what he brings to the table. McLaughlin is smart, technically sound, and plays with a level of poise that's rare in a young offensive lineman. Communication is key at center, and he's shown the ability to read defenses and adjust protections with confidence. If the team is truly committed to building a dominant offensive line, grabbing a guy like McLaughlin could be a move that pays off down the road. What's fascinating about all this is the way the draft seems to be pulling in two very different directions. On one side, there's the defensive urgency, the need to build a unit that can stop the run, get after the quarterback, and impose their will in the trenches. On the other, there's the offensive opportunity, a chance to surround the quarterback with dynamic playmakers and secure the line that will protect him. Both needs are real. Both are pressing. And with multiple picks available, the front office has the flexibility to approach this draft with a strategy that balances both short-term impact and long-term growth. Of course, that leads to the eternal draft debate. Do you pick based on need, or do you take the best player available? It's never a straightforward answer, and every team has its own philosophy. In this case, if someone like Matthew Golden is still on the board, it's hard to imagine passing on that level of talent, even if it means delaying defensive help for another round. But then again, if Kenneth Grant is there and the team believes he's a foundational piece for the defensive front, the argument for taking him becomes just as compelling. It's a draft that could go in so many directions. Maybe they grab a cornerback in the second round, someone with length and speed who can grow into a starting role. Maybe they wait until day 3 to find a value pick at linebacker, a high-motor player who slipped through the cracks. Maybe they double down on the offensive line and add another guard just to keep competition high in training camp. What matters most is that the picks align with a clear vision, a vision that defines who this team wants to be. Some fans will want fireworks. They'll want that explosive receiver or the highlight-making tight end. Others will call for discipline, for the steady and unspectacular but necessary additions in the trenches. And both perspectives are valid. The beauty of a draft is that it allows for both, for calculated risks and safe bets, for star power and depth. This team is in a rare position where its decisions over the course of just a few days could reshape its identity on both sides of the ball. It's also important to recognize how much the draft reflects not just team needs, but team culture. A team that believes in grit and physicality is going to prioritize players who reflect that mentality. A team that values speed and aggression will lean into athletes who can fly around the field and make big plays. And when you look at the prospects being discussed, from Kenneth Grant to Matthew Golden to Seth McLaughlin, you see a bit of everything. You see raw talent, yes, but also character, work ethic, and upside. These are the kinds of players that become the core of a franchise. They're not just filling holes on a roster, they're building the next era. As the days tick down, speculation will only intensify. There will be mock drafts, expert predictions, endless debates on message boards and talk shows. But ultimately, the decisions made inside that draft room, by the scouts, the coaches, the general manager, will speak louder than any headline or hot take. And while fans may agree or disagree in the moment, the truth is that no draft class can be judged until the pads go on and the lights come up on game day. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Los Angeles Chargers. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers have been growing louder across the league, and a shocking new report has left fans and analysts alike stunned. Joe Burrow, the heart and soul of the Cincinnati Bengals, could be on the verge of a blockbuster move to the Los Angeles Chargers. As one of the NFL's most electrifying quarterbacks, Burrow's potential transfer has sparked a flurry of speculation, and fans are now asking, is this just smoke, or is there real fire beneath the surface? While the Bengals have stood firmly behind Burrow, especially after his remarkable 2024 season, where he led the league in both passing yards and touchdowns, sources close to the situation suggest that internal tensions and long-term roster-building concerns may be opening a door few saw coming. Despite a 5-game winning streak to close out the season, Cincinnati missed the playoffs yet again, and frustration may be growing within both the front office and Burrow's camp. The Chargers, meanwhile, are rumored to be aggressively reshaping their identity after a disappointing campaign marred by inconsistency at quarterback. With a talented but underperforming roster, adding a player of Burrow's caliber could instantly vault them into contender status. Analysts believe the Chargers are exploring all options to make this dream a reality, even if it means making franchise-altering sacrifices. What makes this even more intriguing is Burrow's own demeanor. Known for his icy calm and calculated leadership, Joe Cool has been notably quiet during the offseason. No statements, no interviews, just silence. Some insiders view this as a sign of something significant brewing behind the scenes, a potential shift that could alter the power balance in the AFC entirely. As rumors swirl and fans refresh social media feeds by the minute, the NFL world holds its breath. Could Joe Burrow really suit up in lightning blue and gold next season? The coming weeks promise drama, surprises, and perhaps the most explosive quarterback storyline of the decade. Stay tuned. This one's just getting started. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Los Angeles Chargers, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.